Hey guys, welcome to the Gods Unchained beta with the Professor. All right, in today's video, we're going to be talking about our top 16 community tour players. So all summer long, the community of Gods Unchained have been running tournaments to figure out who the top 16 players will be that will be invited to the end of year community tour playoffs. So here we are. We've finished all 5 tournaments and we have determined our top 16. And to help me go through and introduce our top 16 and talk about the tournament a little bit, I have a special guest today. You all know him. He is a community presence and a top player on the rank ladder and on the weekend ranked. It's Lion Unchained.
Hello, everyone, and Professor, thank you very much for having me on to do this. I am excited to talk about this, and I am very excited for the upcoming community tour finals.
Yeah, thank you very much for agreeing to come host this video with me. I know that it's only fitting since you were one of the people, the organizers that first kicked off the entire community tour. So I thought it'd be fitting to have you as someone that could help me go through the community tour and talk about and profile the different players that made it. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, of course, my pleasure, and it's cool to come back and revisit this. We did clash at the beginning, so excited to see how this has developed over time, and it's going to be a great final.
Yeah, speaking of the beginning, you want to just give us an overview of what the community tour was all about?
Yeah, definitely. So the 2021 Community Tour is a tournament series that was thought up and created by Copper Pitch, and he approached Immutable with this and got them on as sponsors. So they had agreed to provide the $3,000 of prize money up for this, and this is the first, semi-official tournament series. We've seen a lot of standalone tournaments. We know the Madness of the Gods tournaments in the past were sponsored by Immutable, but this is really our first series, something with points where we can see, how players do over a period of time with a changing meta, new sets coming in, different rule sets. So it's really exciting and definitely something that we hadn't seen before.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely. So, and speaking of points, the way it worked was there was 5 tournaments, as you can see here on the screen, and we'll go through each 5 later on. But depending on how every player performed in each tournament, they were awarded points, and these points accumulated and cumulatively, depending on how many points each player earned after all 5 tournaments, that determined the top 16 players. So, without further delay, let's talk about the first tournament in our series.
All right, and I will kick it off with this one. This is Clash of Mortals. This was the first event of the series, and Black Gaston and I had the honor of hosting this one. We were reached out to Community Gaming and were able to get them on board to provide for our prize pool. So we had even further support from them across the entire tournament series, which was great. We really were able to get more prizes available for the community here, and it was a really good time. I know we did it on a pretty short time period, but we had a really awesome halftime show where the Spider Show came on and did live music for us, and we had the infamous toxic demo raffle that Fake Muse won. Overall, just a really amazing event, and I have fond memories, but I definitely am happy I am not going through the stress of putting it on again.
Yeah, right on. Thanks for sharing all that. Definitely, when I think back on that first tournament, and it's been a while, it was from June and it's currently September, so 3 months ago now. But definitely thinking back that long ago, I mean, I just remember good vibes. You mentioned the halftime show where the first time ever you had a live musical performance. You mentioned the raffle, the demo Gorgon giveaway, but also I think some of the things that we remember was you and Gaston did was it like a 4 game simulcast? Like you guys casted 4 games at one time?
Yeah, we did. We had, I think in one of our early rounds, we weren't sure how we were going to get through all of the content that was provided. And again, shouts out to the community for being so willing to get that up. I think it was some of the highest engagement we'd seen in that regard. But we had a 4 panel up where we were casting, 4 sets of games, and it was really exciting. It was a bit of mayhem, but definitely something that we hadn't done or seen before. So
Yeah, definitely. It was a great start to the community tour, and that community tournament was then followed by the Octo Cup. This tournament was hosted by Team Octopus. You guys all know players from Team Octopus for sure. They are tournament standouts and also dominates the weekend ranked events. This one was slightly unique in that it was a best of five, so it was multiple games. You had to beat your opponent 3 out of 5 times. And not only that, I think one of the more memorable things about this tournament was that everyone was required to submit a deck list before the tournament started. So you were locked into your choice. You had no chance to go in and change your deck depending on your next round opponent. What'd you think about that one, Line?
yeah, this was really interesting. I thought when we heard the announcement with what the format was going to be and having the submitted deck list, I was really excited to see how this would kind of shake out across the player base and what kind of participation we would see. I I just remember there being so much work that had to be done. Only a being with 8 tentacles could possibly do that much work at one time. So I'm glad that Octo was the team that was putting this on and handling that. But yeah, I think that it was interesting, and I'm not sure how I feel about locking the cards in and not being able to switch on the fly. But it was still refreshing to see a new format brought to the table.
Right on, agree. And I remember there was a little bit of problem with this tournament because of the locked decks, where I think midway or towards the end of the tournament, the Gods Unchained team decided to unlive Neferu. So Neferu was taken out of the game, and several players had submitted deck lists with Neferu in it. So I remember that created a headache for the organizers, but the organizers communicated very well. Team Octopus, shout out to them, and they came up with a solution that satisfied the tournament participants. So definitely showing some flexibility there, as you mentioned, being with 8 tentacles, being able to be flexible and handled many different things at one time.
Yeah, absolutely. I almost forgot about the Neph Unliving. What an event.
Yeah. And then going to our next one, you want to talk about this one, Lion?
Yeah, sure. So the next event up on the list here is Cujo Bowl. And Team Cujo, one of the newer teams in the Gods Unchained space, was given this opportunity to go ahead and throw their name into the hat for someone to host the tournament. And they went ahead and did the first double elimination style tournament that we had ever seen. And I just went back and looked at those brackets again earlier tonight, and it is so complicated. I just trying to figure out who the top four were going back from the final two. I was like, wow, this was a lot of work and organization. So hats off to them on that. I don't know. What do you think? Are we going to see another double elimination format, at least with the current tooling that we have for tournaments?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just remember there was a couple of unique situations where I think people started dropping out because they thought they were eliminated, and players were moving forward via DQ. And at one point, I asked Clutch, I was like, "Is this tournament an auto battler? Or are people just getting moved up for no reason?" And then also, I remember Fake Muse actually had to jump in at like the last week of the tournament and literally ping every single participant and organize every single match. It was crazy. Like he had to just I guess he had enough of the chaos and was just like jumping in, trying to run the tournament, even though he wasn't part of the tournament organization. But it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just bit off a little bit more than they could chew. But again, like the
Woof
same
woof.
thing with Octo, seeing a new idea and a new format for the tournament brought in. I mean, it allows us to see what works and what doesn't. So yeah, great tournament as well. And shouts out to Team Cujo.
I agree. Shout out to Team Cujo for coming up with something unique for sure. All right, and then that brings us to our next tournament, which was the Madness of the Gods number 5. So Madness of the Gods number 5 was hosted by Copper Pitch and Fake Muse. Trigger Haven, the usual co-host, had to drop out due to some personal reasons, but Fake Muse stepped up to help Copper Pitch organize and cast the events. And as people have joked, Fake Muse took the role on very seriously and earned himself the title of a mall cop. What'd you think about that one?
Yeah, the fake Muse Mall cop moments were my favorite. I actually experienced one of those myself. I thought that I my tournament games in the first round, but ended up having a rematch because Fake Views went back through the deck list and found out that my opponent was playing an illegal deck, and I hadn't even checked it. So a lot of funny moments like that had come up. But Madness of the Gods has a special place in my heart. It was that I first saw when I got into Gods Unchained. So, overall great event, interesting format. This was a one of cards only. So you would end up with, no more than one copy of each card in your deck. So again, just bringing something else new to the table.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely a unique format. It was fun. Only having to be creative, only putting one copy of a card in your deck. I definitely like that format, something different compared to everybody automatically putting two copies of one card into each deck. And again, shout out to the organizers, especially Fake News. I mean, he literally took the job super seriously. He went through every single match result and made sure that everybody was obeying the law, following the rules, and he DQ'd a bunch of people. So Fake News doesn't play around.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I think that was a great choice for a co-host there, and I loved watching Muse cast games with Copper. So yeah, quite the dynamic duo.
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't even mention how entertaining Fake News is. So thanks for bringing that up. All right, let's go on to our next tournament, the most recent one. You want to talk a little about this one, Lion?
Yeah, sure. So this is the most recent and final tournament of the series. This tournament was very important because this was the one that decided whether or not a player made it into that top 16 cut and is going on to the grand finals, the 2021 Community Tour um, finale. So this was a big one. Um, there was some talk about format. There's stuff going on with cards changing with recent balances, as well as the new set is coming in. So, what ended up happening with this one is there were some really unpopular balancing changes that happened. So, I feel like TST did a good job with their bans for this tournament and being under such a tumultuous time with the cards that are available to us. I think they handled this great. How'd you feel about this one?
Yeah, I agree. A shout out to the Team Stream team, TST. They came up with a unique rule set where it was still a best out of three. You had to win twice only. However, they incorporated several bans. They banned a God Power Onslaught, but they also banned several cards. I think I don't remember the total, but let's say call them 8 to 10 cards. But these were the 8 to 10 cards that people hated playing against. So actually reading the feedback from the players that played in this tournament, or even players that didn't play but just watched the casting of the games, it was overall positive. Everybody was saying how fun the game was, how fun the format was, how entertaining the matches were. Games weren't taking 45 minutes of passing back and forth. So definitely shout out to the team for coming up with a format that I think overall most people considered fun. So I think they did a good job in that. And they also had really good casting. They were doing giveaways. There was dancing. There was music. There was jokes. Overall, a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just the combined experience and knowledge between that team, all great guys and great casts. So, yeah, shouts out to TST.
Okay. All right. So that as Line said, that was our last tournament in the series, and this was the deciding tournament. After this tournament, our final 16 was determined, and it's actually a great segue. So because of this tournament, we had one player that rose up from anonymity, from out of nowhere. No one heard of this player, did a strong run and showing into the TS tournament, taking, I believe, second place. And because of that, they earned the final and 16th spot in the top 16 Community Tour Final Invitational, and no other than Fate, qualifying for the Community Final Tour with 90 points, breaking the tiebreaker because he or she had the highest finish, finishing second among the other people that with 90 points. So I reached out to Faith and the other top 16 and asked them a few questions. So let's learn about them. I asked Faith how long they've been playing GU, and they've only been playing since June 22nd, and it was because it was the same day that the snapshot was taken, and they missed out on the snapshot just starting on that day. So I can imagine not having a full collection or a decent enough collection that day to earn some tokens, but it's a good time to start. Better late than never. Quite an early, actually quite a recent um, entry into GU, only a couple months into GU. Their most memorable experience in GU was obviously making the finals of the TS tournament. Um, totally understandable. I would be over the moon as well, making it to the finals of that. And then a fun fact about Fate is they are a tennis enthusiast and plays competitively, and also the captain of the university team. So sounds like someone that's quick on their feet. All right, let's go on to our next player.
All right, and I will take this one. This is Lenistar with 95 points. And when asking Lenistar how long they've been playing GU, they started in February, March of this year with the promotional. And that's actually around the same time I started playing. So very relatable there. And their most memorable GU experience so far was their run in the Cujo Cup losers bracket, finishing with an epic battle against Fake Muse for the entire community to see. That is an exciting one. And a fun fact about Lenistar is most beer mugs emptied in one day at Oktoberfest number 8. Don't remember too much from that day.
That's pretty good. 8 mugs in one day of day one of Oktoberfest. Have you attended Oktoberfest and how do you rank?
Me myself, I have not been to Oktoberfest. I think that's like only in Germany, or can this be an Oktoberfest somewhere else in the spirit
Oh
of German
yeah,
holiday?
yeah. I've seen it celebrated in the United States, in California, and I know you're from California, so you must have just missed out on it. But they celebrate it. Anyway, everywhere that they sell beer, they'll be celebrating it.
Yeah, no, I haven't yet, but maybe I'll have to check it out sometime. I'd like to go. I'd like to go for a trip, but I'm gonna save that for my later years.
Yeah, definitely. Well, if you do participate in an Oktoberfest, you have a number to shoot for there of number 8 in one day. All right, going to our next player. The next qualifier at the 14th spot is Caution Fund, qualifying with 100 points. Caution's been playing GU since November 2019, so almost coming up on 2 years here. Caution's most memorable experience in GU so far was his first weekend ranked event win over Jack High. So I asked about this, and apparently back then, weekend ranked wasn't 25 games. It was literally play as many games as you can, achieve the highest MMR you can over that weekend. And Caution explained that the past few weekends, Jack High was apparently the dominant player at that time, was the highest MMR almost every weekend. It came down to the wire. There was only like a few hours left, and Caution Fun said he ended up matching up with Jack High 3 or 4 times and ended up winning it, taking over the highest MMR and then winning his first ever weekend ranked event. And a fun fact about Caution Fun, he says he owns every kind of classic car. So that was quite surprising to me. Apparently, he has a huge garage.
That is interesting. I wouldn't have ever guessed that. And fun fact about that question number 3 is that Clutch still thinks that's how ranked weekend works.
Okay. All right. Let's go to
He's
our.
the late night grinder.
Oh
He's the
yeah.
late night grinder.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Clutch.
go ahead, go ahead.
Clutch plays a lot of games for sure. For sure. All right. Let's go to our next top 16 finalist.
All right, and wow, look, who's it? This is the professor with 105 points, and Professor asked himself, "How long have you been playing GU?" And the answer to that was since November 2020. Prof's most memorable GU experience so far is finding this supportive GU community and receiving a Borb board trinket from Meals and the GU team. Very excellent moment there. And a fun fact about Prof was the local region Yu-Gi-Oh champion for one season. So a little bit of a card legend history right there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, the board thing was funny. So I had received the award apparently because I was very helpful and active on the GU Reddit and the Discord. But the day that they had announced it, I didn't even know I was receiving a Borb. But the day they announced, Meals announced that she was giving out Borbs, I actually had a really busy day. I hadn't even logged into Discord or anywhere, so I totally didn't know what was going on. And I jumped into a fake news stream while he was live, and he was just like, "Congratulations!" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Then he's like, "How do you not know?" And then I was like, "What's going on?" Then he's like, "You're the most active person on Discord, and you didn't read the Discord messages." I was like, "Oh, yeah." So then it was kind of like he broke the news to me, and it was pretty funny.
That is a good one. And yeah, for those of you that don't know, Prof also a moderator on Reddit. Yeah, been a big part of the community for a while. And yeah, just congratulations on your achievements there, and thanks for the work that you put in. One other thing I wanted to add is receiving a Borb from Meals, not even no longer possible. It's not in the game anymore. So congratulations on getting that too. Very exclusive.
Oh yeah, you're right, right. With Meals moving on to a different company, it's definitely a Meals Borb is now a collector's item. So yeah, thank you for that. And definitely, it's my pleasure helping out the community. Definitely just want to be able to support and help people and grow the games. That's definitely the goal, just like your goal, I'm sure, as I watch your stream and your content. All
Yeah,
right.
100%.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's go to our next player. We have a member of Team Octopus, Gino, qualifying with 105 points. Gino's been playing GU since April 2021. So it sounds like about the same time as Lion, around that promotion time. Gino's most memorable GU experience so far was he won the Play to Earn tournament just 1 week after joining the game. Fun,
Wow.
yeah. A fun fact about Gino, he had a hard time thinking about it, but then he said that his in real life brother M Cell made some games for him during the summer when they were on holiday and just chilling on the beach. So I did not follow up on what games he made, but that's definitely something for anyone that's interested in interacting with Gino. If you want to know more, ask him what kind of games MCell made for him. I'm curious now.
I wouldn't have guessed that Gino only started playing April 2021. That is definitely news to me.
Yeah, I think having his brother MCell, who I think was in the game longer, I think
Mhm.
he was yeah, a member of Team Octopus. I think he was in good company, getting that support, getting that the ropes shown to him. So I think definitely being able to get all that support made him seem to be a more seasoned and experienced player than he is, and he probably has a strong background in competitive games as well too. So, but yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that he's also only been in GU since April 2021. All right, let's go to the next player.
All right, and the next player is Vlaskill, also now a member of Team Octopus with 105 points. And how long has Vlaskill been playing GU? Since August 2019. Now that is a long time ago. And the most memorable experience so far, and Floss is going with three. He couldn't narrow it down to one, but let's hear those three. First, my victory in the final of Champions League #1 versus my mate Aldok. Second, my second top one in the event of weekend ranked because I was a unique player of Magic and other players in the top 20 played War. And third, my announcement that I became an individual coach in GU. And a fun fact about Vlaskill, my accent when I talk in English is a fun fact for all. Yeah, so can make a little bit of fun of the accent there, and yeah, I think that the time that we've got on stream with each other, we have had a little bit of complications with that, but it's really nice to see, you know, the community out in France, and yeah, it's just a pleasure to be able to connect with other players around the world.
Yeah, I love how GU is a global community. We have people playing, streaming, watching the game all over the world. We have a strong European presence, we have strong North American, South American presence, and also Asian presence. So yeah, it's amazing how, and Australia, shout out to Australia as well. It's definitely a huge global community, and it's only going to get bigger. So it's definitely amazing to see how we already have different regions of the world covered with the players that we have and the community members. All right, let's go to our next player. Our next player is Wes with 110 points. Wes has been playing GU since early 2019, right after Hyperion, a mythic card, was sold for $62,000 back then. So I can't even imagine how much ETH that was back then to come out to 62K, but whoever sold that Hyperion, if they held on to all those ETH from 2019, they must be in a good spot right now. Their most memorable GU experience so far, competing in all the community tournaments that he's competed in. And a fun fact about Wes, he's pretty good at reaching the finals, but not very good at winning them. Lost 3 finals so far. So consistent, but not
Wait,
that consistent. Go ahead.
I I didn't know we were on fake news. Oh, wait, hold on. This is Wes. No, continue.
Oh yeah. Fake news could definitely tie Wes for most finals lost. You're right. You're right. But yeah, this Hyperion fact was something that I didn't really think about. I know when I was first looking into the game, I read about how Hyperion sold for 62K, and I kind of fixated on the U.S. amount. But now that I'm more, call it a little bit more experienced with crypto, just trying to calculate how much ETH 62K was in 2019. Somebody put up a lot of ETH, right?
Yeah, and that's really crazy when you think about it in current US dollar value, or I guess just moving past that, just how much, if you just think about it in ETH, how much that really is.
Yeah, yeah, definitely super interesting for me. All right, let's go to our next player.
All right, and the next one is Mirage 88 with 125 points. And for Mirage, how long have you been playing GU? And Mirage is saying, pretty sure December 2019 was my first month. And for most memorable GU experience so far, the three-peat Madness of the God tournament wins with a forced Magic finale for Copper Pitch and the Culture. And a fun fact about you, I'm actually a robot that hates fun and only maximizes win percentage. So Mirage definitely able to have some fun with these answers as well. And yeah, we actually did an interview with Mirage before, so we touched on a little bit of this stuff. So I'm a little bit familiar with his background, but I really appreciate the humor there. And the three-peat is like forever legendary.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think not only did he three-peat the Madness of the Gods, but he did a three-peat 25-0 weekend. So he went cumulatively 3 weekends in a row, 75-0. I think he seems like the number three.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. I asked him what would be the third three-peat, the Trifinity or something like that. But I guess we're still waiting for that one. So we're gonna have to see what that is. Maybe it's three consecutive Community 2021 finale wins,
Oh yeah, we'll have to see how
or
that's.
sorry, Community Tour.
Yeah, Player of the Year titles or something. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I wouldn't pass
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
put it past Mirage to be able to pull that off. All right. Next player, we have V2, another member of Team Octopus with 125 points. V2 has been playing GU when he bought his first packs in November 2018. Wow, so this is the earliest. We've seen some 2019s, and now someone said they bought their first packs in 2018 and started right when the game launched and has never stopped. Their most memorable
Insane.
yeah, I can't believe the history of this game. 2018, I mean, who knew about crypto back in 2018, right? Your most memorable GU experience so far? When MCell sold his entire collection 24 hours before the IMX snapshot was announced. Wow, so I'm thinking, I'm a little confused about this. Did MCell sell his collection and then they announced, by the way, we are going to be taking a snapshot of your collection and then everything pumped? Or the other interpretation is MCell sold this right before the snapshot at the high. So a little bit of clarification needed here, but either way, I can't believe MCell sold his entire collection. A fun fact about V2, still playing Pokemon Go in 2021, 5 years and going strong.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Very
any
nice.
thoughts
Yeah,
on
I
this
think
one?
that yeah, I think that other one about MCell selling his entire collection, I want to hear the story on that. So next time we see someone from Octo on stream, I'm definitely going to ask about that.
Yeah, definitely a story worth digging into there. All right, Lion, let's go into the next one.
All right, and for this one we have Aldous with 140 points. And for Aldous, how long have you been playing GU? He has been playing GU for 2 years. Most memorable GU experience so far, winning Octo Cup and an AFK win with Deception Bombs. And a fun fact about you, Forgetful once left his stream on and did an empty chair stream. It's all right. You know, it happens to the best of them. I saw an empty empty chair Snoop Dogg stream. So now you share that in common.
Yeah, yeah. So Aldous actually has a Twitch clip of his AFK win with Deception. He was Deception playing against Death. He had apparently somehow shuffled, I think, 3 bombs into his opponent's deck, and the clip starts with just his chair. So he must be known for his empty chair streams because the clip starts with the chair. He is not in the room. His turn, he just passes his turn. Or no, it's his opponent turn, and his opponent passes the turn over to him. And obviously he's not in the room, so he ropes and passes the turn back. And the opponent draws the first card. It's a bomb, does 2 or 3 points of damage, whatever it is. It draws another bomb and another one and blows up themselves. Then Aldous walks into the room just laughing when he looks at the screen, was just like, and he's like, "What happened?" So definitely an amazing way to win without not even needing to be at the desk playing the game and notching a win.
Truly next level.
Yeah, definitely some skills there. All right, our next player is Clutch, 155 points qualifying for the top 16. Clutch has been playing GU since March 2021. Again, sounds like during that big promotional push. His most memorable GU experience so far, his first ever top 10 with a free-to-play Slayer deck, and the prof, I'm assuming me, his following up with a Monday Mythic meta video where I featured his Slayer deck. And I do remember that. This was back in March. I was still, just pumping out content, getting started, and I was still trying to get to know the community members and the top players. And I ran into this guy that ran a free-to-play Slayer that was in the top 10. And I was like, how is this possible? So I immediately messaged the player who was Clutch, and I was just like, well, tell me about this deck. And so we spent a good amount of time just talking, learning about his deck. I got to know him better. He got to know me better. And ever since then, I would say we're friends. Hang out at his stream. He hangs out on mine. But and we joke around. So definitely a top 10 player since he first started with that free to play Slayer deck. And a fun fact about Clutch, he says he's never touched grass. I didn't clarify if he was talking about grass at a park or some other form of grass, but we'll leave that one open to interpretation. All right, Lion, let's go ahead and take the next one away.
And yeah, the next one is Rachmanon, and with 160 points here. And Rachmanon started playing in March of 2021, so around that same time. This is when a lot of people were starting up. So this is our most recent wave, I guess, before this new set. But the most memorable GU experience so far from Rachmanon is taking second in the Clash of Mortals tournament. I didn't feel like I had enough experience with the game at that point to perform that well, but it took me back to my times playing in the MTG Grand Prix. Just a super competitive, fun, engaging experience. Very, very cool. Something I always wanted to do. But I admire that a lot. And a fun fact about Rachmanon is I play the cello.
Yeah, it's an interesting fun fact. So before he gave me the fun fact, I never really made the connection. And now that you're going over his profile page, right now, literally this second, I realize his avatar
Mm-hmm.
is a musical, theme or some sort. I mean, I don't know exactly what's going on, but I just recognize this is a musical note on the R.
Yeah, yeah. Right when I read that, that popped out to me in my peripheral vision too, and I was like, wow, I didn't notice that until reading that. But very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, pretty cool. I still don't know what the black lines are going for, but it might be something to do with the cello, maybe. Maybe it's like because I think the cello is that thing that's like a giant violin, right? Like you have this stick that you drag back and forth between strings.
Hmm.
Yeah, so maybe this is
Yeah,
it.
yeah. That's
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's like a bow. It's a bow string instrument. I mean, I'm not sure what the official terms for this are, but I think that's what it's getting at there. And then yeah, I guess the parallel lines also make me think of sheet music a little bit. But I wonder what the diamond in the back is all about.
Yeah, but yeah, Rachmanon's probably shaking his head right now at our ignorance with music. All right, let's go to our next one before we anger Rachmanon even more. All right, our next player with 220 points. Everyone knows this guy. Fake News. How long has Fake News been playing GU? He started playing in October of 2020. His 1 year anniversary is coming up soon. All right, guys, if you hear that, if you ever happen to stop by Fake News' stream or interact with him in the month of October, make sure to wish him a happy 1 year anniversary. I'm sure he'll love that. His most memorable GU experience so far, hosting and then winning the Superb Owl tournament. It was my first tournament I ever hosted and also my first GU tournament that I won, beating Caution Fun in the finals while playing Onslaught, a deck that Caution despised before it was cool to despise it. That was fun as well. A fun fact about Fake News, he was on the Disney Channel as a kid. Interesting. Anything you want to share about
I
our friend Fake
wonder.
News?
Yeah, yeah. So I just find that funny. I just think of like, the recent poll on on the GU Discord, and just all of that's fueled initially by this one game long ago. But yeah, I wonder what he was on the Disney Channel for. Like, I would like to hear more about that too. A lot of these questions, I want to know the backstories.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of these things turns out to be. I thought it was a question to learn more about the players, but it's seeming like our players like to be mysterious, and these answers are now opening the door just a little bit of a crack and into a little bit of a peek into the room, but more to be seen from all these players with their little tidbits that they're sharing. Yeah, who would have thought Muse is a Disney kid? Wow. All right, go ahead,
Yeah, wouldn't have
Lions.
guessed.
Yeah, take the next one away.
All right. And our next player is Revan with 230 points. Revan has been playing GU since 2019. Most memorable GU experience so far is joining my first esports team and meeting a bunch of awesome people within Team Mythic. And a fun fact about Revan is I'm really into NFTs and hope to retire from my day job soon in order to trade NFTs and play blockchain games on a full time basis. And I share that dream. And for those of you that don't know, that may be a little bit newer, but Team Mythic was one of the original, like very first GU teams, and kind of was on a hiatus, but has been coming back into the scene lately. And that's been really exciting for the competitive scene.
Yeah, totally agree. I remember if anyone has looked into the history of GU, back then there was a couple of teams that were prominent with a couple of smaller teams, but the two biggest teams back then was Team Mythic and Team Stream Team TST, and they had a couple of clashes back then in terms of games against each other. And Team Mythic was definitely, as I mentioned, as Lion has mentioned, one of the top teams along with TST. And yeah, they did go on hiatus for the people, a lot of the players that joined during that March, April promotion, they didn't see any Team Mythic because at that time they had gone into hibernation. And but as Lion had mentioned recently, within the last month or two, Team Mythic players started getting active again, and they are in no, not no delay, have been making their presence known and making their presence felt in weekend ranked and in tournaments. So definitely still a strong contender up to this time, and I believe will continue to be a strong contender going forward. All right, our next player, another Team Octopus player representing in the top 16. We have Aldok with 300 points. Aldok has been playing GU since the beginning of the game. He bought a few Genesis packs even before the game was live, so he believed in the game even before there was a game. So everyone that's playing now, I mean, we have this game because of players like Aldok and others that bought in and provided that investment seed money for the developers to create the game. So thank you to Aldok and all those early investors. Aldok's most memorable GU experience so far, organizing the Octo Cup with his mates. Fun fact about Aldok, He goes into octopus mode when he tries hard, and he gets 9 brains activated. No wonder he's so good.
Yeah, 9 brains, 8 tentacles. It cannot be stopped.
Yeah, definitely. I'll add a fun fact about Aldok. I actually ran into him in the last 3 tournaments, starting with I believe it was Cujo, Madness, and then TST. He eliminated me from Cujo Bowl, and then proceeded to eliminate me again from Madness of the Gods. And then at that point, I was on the bubble of the top 16, not even sure if I was going to make it. And lo and behold, I get matched up with Aldok again in the TS tournament. However, as you see, I was able to make it, so I was definitely a big win for me, a huge boost in confidence being able to beat Aldok. And he was very gracious afterwards, you know, congratulating me and cheering me on. So I definitely appreciate Aldok, definitely a class act there. All right, and our last player and our top player, go ahead, Lion.
Yeah, and our final player here is Doubtless with 310 points. And Doubtless also started playing GU in March of 2021 and really has made quite the splash. Probably, just became one of the top contenders, potentially the top contender, very quickly. The most memorable GU experience so far, Doubtless says, is winning the community tour tournament Clash of Mortals. And a fun fact about you, I have a 9-year-old and a 2-year-old that I like playing with when I am not gaming. Sounds very wholesome, very nice.
Definitely. So yeah, that's our top 16 players. Hope you guys enjoyed learning more about each one. As Lion mentioned, some of these actually lead to more questions. So if you're interested in learning more about these players, feel free to reach out to them in the Discord. They're all active players. Maybe some of them even stream. You reach out to them on their streams. Even follow and watch them as the community tour tournament starts off. I believe that's going to be starting off sometime in mid to late October. But before we move on, let me ask Lion. Lion, how long have you been playing GU?
I have been playing GU since the second week of February, and I actually started streaming, I think, about 5 days after that. So started playing and started streaming in February of 2021.
And
Yeah,
who was one of your first viewers on your stream? Do you remember?
who was one of my very first viewers on the stream?
Yeah, one of your
Uh,
first viewers.
I'm I'm guessing the answer here is you. I'm going to be honest with you. Just by the way you asked it, I would feel like I must answer the professor.
Yeah, yeah, I remember when you first started streaming, you were playing with a nature deck, and I just happened to pop into your one of your streams. And I remember you used to have one of your friends on. It'd be 2 people talking at one time. I remember you had just launched your Discord, and it was called Gang or something like that, Gang Unchained or something crazy like that. But I just remember that was the early days of Lion Unchained. A little bit of history there.
Yeah, I just to talk about that a little bit, that was me and my buddy Cloud, and he showed me this game. I don't know where he heard about it, but he showed me this game, and immediately, because I'm a huge, I was a big into just trading card games in general. I still have some of my Pokemon cards, and I played Magic the Gathering competitively. So when he told me about this, like immediately, I was like, I should I should start playing this game. And within 5 days, I was like, I'm on Twitch now. Let's do this. So I was committed from the get go.
Yeah, and I remember once right away within that 5 days when you were streaming, you bought packs, and I was at that point trying to help new players smooth into and assimilate into the game. And Lion was like, I bought packs, I'm not getting them. So I remember working with Lion over DMs, making sure that he got the packs because I just felt so bad that this new player fell in love with the game, spent I think $100 right away within the first few days trying to get some packs, and the packs weren't showing up. So I had to, ping the a lot of the Discord folks, the GU members, and get Linus packs. And I'm happy to say it worked out because Line's still here.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that? It actually gave me a window of time that I was able to achieve Mythic as free to play. So I wouldn't have gotten that opportunity and had that achievement if it wasn't for the delayed pack. So I do appreciate it in one way.
Definitely. How about your most memorable GU experience so far?
My most memorable GU experience. That's really hard. There's a lot of them. Yeah, I don't know if I could actually narrow that down to one. I guess I could talk. I could talk talk about a couple. I think the doing the very end of the Clash of Mortals stream with Black Aston and playing um, Duel of Fates, the Star Wars song that he wanted me to play so bad, and him being so hyped up, and us doing that, and then it resulting in Fake Muse winning the Demogorgon. I think that probably has to be it. That was the most hype, outrageous, and then absurd finish to that there could have been. Um, yeah, that I'll go with that one.
Oh, that was definitely a good experience. Agreed, agreed. And it was a shared community experience too. So that's definitely a good one to share. And how about a fun fact?
A fun fact about me is, let's see, what is the fun one? I guess I have lived abroad and done wildlife rescue volunteering for golden mantle howler monkeys before.
Wow, that sounds
Yeah, I'm a, kind of a big. Oh, good.
no, I was just saying that's impressive. It's totally random out there. A lot of people probably haven't done what you've done, so that's very impressive.
Yeah, I'm really passionate about yeah, wildlife, and I like volunteering a lot. So yeah, I also wanted to have I had one last thing to say for the audience before we go. I was curious to know for you all at home, what were your favorite moments from the community tour tournament series? If there wasn't anything that we talked about here yet, I would love to know like what were memorable games or things that happened during the tournament series. Throw that in the comments below, and I'd be happy to think back on those and chat with you about it.
Oh yeah, that's a great point, Line. Thank you for bringing that up. Definitely, it's not only memorable for us talking about it. It's not only memorable for the 16 players that made it, but it's memorable for all the players that participated and everyone in the community that supported and watched it and cheered people on. So appreciate you bringing that up for people to share their memorable moments in the comments. Thank you very much for that. And I put you in the spot with those questions. Didn't prep Lion, didn't tell him I would be asking those questions, but I'm going to put him in the spot one more time for the laughs. So we've gone through our top 16 players. We've talked about how many each have earned. We got to learn how many points each have earned. We got to learn a little about each person now. And some of them had some pretty good achievements. Some came from nowhere to claim a spot in the top 16. So we're going to ask Lion, now that you have organized one of the tournaments, you've played in the tournaments, you've followed the tournaments, now you've learned a little more about each of the players. What's your prediction on the winner of the 2021 Community Tour Player of the Year? Let's hear the prediction right now.
My prediction for number one here. Oh my gosh, that's hard, but I'm gonna have to say I think it's gonna be Doubtless. I really think it's gonna be Doubtless.
Nice, nice. That's a good pick. You can't go wrong with going number one. He's definitely proven himself to be dominant, scoring the most points and coming in number one, winning a tournament, one of the tournaments in the community finals, and also coming in second in the other. So that's a solid pick. Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, I think Doubtless is new, like new to the GU community and to the tournament scene and competitive play here, but it's just the consistency in which Doubtless plays. I think that they're going to be able to clutch it through this final series. I think they do well with the pressure, and if I have to pick, my biggest to support, you and Fake Muse are always the two top ones. I can't pick one of you over the other, but I can put you equally. But I support all the players on the list. But yeah, I just have to say, I think as far as performance is concerned, I think Doubtless takes it.
Yeah, thank you very much for sharing that. Appreciate it. Lion's gonna pick Doubtless to win the whole tournament at the final Community Tour Player of the Year. I'm gonna add on to that and say that second place will be Fake Muse. All right, everyone.
A hundred
Uh,
percent.
yeah,
A hundred
definitely
percent.
second place. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. All right. Thank you everyone for hanging out with us and learning about our top 16 players and our community tour for 2021. So before we go, I just want to thank Lion Unchained for his time and for sharing his thoughts on this. For those of you that haven't followed Lion on Twitch, Twitter, or YouTube, I'm going to drop his links in the description of the video. Please feel free to follow him in all those platforms. Anything else you want to add before we take offline?
I just want to say thank you very much for having me on. And I do have, since you put me on the spot a couple of times, I just want to know who do you have picked for number one in this? And you cannot, if it wasn't yourself, if it wasn't you, who would you pick?
All right. If it wasn't me, um, like I agree with you, we have a ton of dangerous and top players here. Um, Let me start by narrowing it down. I think I'll start from the bottom list. Caution is dangerous. Mirage is dangerous. Aldous is dangerous. Clutch is consistent. Rack has been consistent. Aldok, Doubtless. I mean, so we have a lot of powerhouses here. Um, but if I had to pick one, and this is only because of you know, and this is a difficult prediction to make. It wasn't fair to make you this prediction, and I'm gonna clarify this prediction because we don't know what the format is yet. But
Yes, true.
yeah,
I was just thinking this.
I'm gonna assume that the format is anything goes. And if it's anything goes, I'm gonna have to say that looking at the list, it's so loaded with octopus. We have Gino, Vlaskill, V2, and Aldok. We have four octopus in the top 16 that they're gonna have so much brain power and stake in the game that they're gonna be collaborating so much to really win this that I'm gonna have to give it to one of the octopus members. And to me, just because I've experienced this so far on how consistent Aldok has been, I'm gonna have to pick Aldok as my winner here. If it's an anything goes format,
Interesting.
yeah, I'm gonna go with Aldok with fake news coming in second, of course.
All right, yeah. As long as fake news is still in second, I support that. I think that's very insightful, especially when talking about the format. And I cannot wait for these finals to hear some more information about them and be able to watch these.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, so everybody, thank you all for hanging out with us. As we mentioned in the video, please share your favorite community tour moment and experience. Let us know who you think is going to walk away with the title of 2021 Community Tour Player of the Year. And I would love to see those predictions. Thank you again to Lion for hanging out with me and going over our top players. Now we know a little bit more about each player, so hopefully you have more information on who you can root for. So check out the links for in the description for Lion, and we're looking forward to your comments. All right, everyone, thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers.